I think one of the problems a military organization has is it tends to follow the social whims of society around it. Killing is bad. It's unnatural to kill. You shouldn't kill. And then you're saying, okay, go be a Marine, go kill somebody, and then come back. It's bad to kill.
And frequently, when people see the unvarnished truth, they don't like it. I ran into this all the time when I got out of the Marines and people would ask about my experience. They didn't really want to know what we did. In some ways, Marines on the battlefield have more in common with their enemy than they do with their family and friends at home.
There's a sense that letting down your armor a little bit is an admission of weakness. So the culture is also a culture of enormous toughness. We can do things better. And we have a kind of, if not invincibility, a kind of durability and resilience.
That killing carries a cost to the person who carries it out. That combat changes people. That combat, I think, diminishes the soul permanently. It alters people. The sacrifices the Marines make are not just physical. They're mental and spiritual as well, and they're carried for the rest of one's life.
I think anyone who served in the armed forces, overseas in combat, comes back with something that he would rather not talk about. I'll never forget a World War II Terror veteran who told me that he was proud he served his country, but he wasn't proud of what he had to do to serve his country.
It's my personal belief that Marines, more than anyone else in society, absolutely hate warfare. We hate combat. No one likes it. And thank God some of us survived it.
In the 2 1/3 century history of the Marine Corps, more than 40,000 Marines have been killed in combat, and over 200,000 have been wounded.
I was in Fallujah, Iraq. I was in an LAV, which is a light armored vehicle, and ID went off and I was injured.
It was during the battle for Way. Could never forget it. I turned and I looked, and this NVA soldier came out from behind it and fired a RPG.
I was injured just south of Fallujah in the Al Anbar province. I was struck by a rocket-propelled grenade.
I was only in one operation. That's the only time I ever left my base. And I got hurt by an IED in Karabala on the last day of the last house of the mission. It's just kind of random. Everything just happens by chance. It's just, some people are lucky, some people aren't.
It actually struck the weapon that I was firing, so it took both my hands off and severely damaged my left leg.
I had second and third degree burns on my face. I had third degree burns on my hands, required skin grafts, and lost a finger. I had broken my leg. I had ripped all my arteries and tendons in my right leg. I suffer from nerve damage now. My hands sweat constantly from the burns.
For some Marines, the transition back to duty or into civilian life is helped by a stay at the Wounded Warrior Barracks at Camp Lejeune, North Carolina. The barracks was the idea of a wounded colonel who saw the need for a place for wounded Marines to heal, physically and mentally.
Just the camaraderie that we have here, the fact that we're all Marines, but we're all wounded Marines as well, and, we all know to some extent what the other person is going through.
We have 36 Marines that live in the barracks. Right away, they're with wounded Marines. A guy comes in, I was burnt. I can say, hey, I was burnt too. In a couple of years, this is what your skin grafts will look like. Or guy has an eye injury. This guy has one too. It's just the camaraderie that we all, because we're all there, we all know what we're going through. It's great.
In my day, when I was laying in the Philadelphia Naval Hospital, there were over 550 amputees laying on the wards with no hope. Today, our young men and women who are injured have hope. They have support, first and foremost, and they have the hope of modern medicine that is doing unbelievable things with these catastrophic wounds of theirs.
For wounded Marines, there is always the question of what next? For some, the answer, amazingly, is the Marine Corps.
I was determined to remain a Marine. There have been Marines in past conflicts who have suffered amputations and gone back into active duty service and even back into the theater. Now, in retaining wounded Marines as active duty Marines, we can transfer our knowledge and our experiences and help build a stronger, better Marine Corps.
Before he went to Iraq, Sergeant Wright was qualified as a martial arts instructor. After his recovery, he was assigned to the Marine Corps Martial Arts Program as an instructor.
We're going to start now as the combat engagement pattern.
Sergeant Eddie Wright really typifies a Marine. He's got that can-do spirit. He's never given up, and he's still a martial art instructor. He never once, since I've known him, complained about, poor me, look what happened. It was, I was out doing a mission, something happened, it's time to drive on and continue with what I'm going to do.
All right, this next technique that I'm going to show you is the arm drag takedown.
To see him stand in front of other Marines and talk about what he went through, and he has no anger or meanness to anything.
Dig in with your fingers, or in my case, my hook.
That's something special about an individual who doesn't hold any grudges or he's not upset, and he still puts his left foot forward on being a Marine first. And we see that all around the Marine Corps. And I guess that's why Marines can die for each other and will fight for each other, because when you have guys like that are so motivating to be around, they just inspire everybody around you. He's a true warrior, a true Marine.
I have not the slightest bit of regret for joining the Marine Corps. I would do it again. So many doors have opened up for me since I joined the Marine Corps, even after my injuries. And as a person where I am right now, I probably could never have the level of satisfaction with the challenges that I've met and the challenges I've overcome if I was in the civilian world. I have such an immense pride in me being a Marine. I'll always treasure these years that I've spent as a Marine.
After spending 12 months teaching martial arts, Sergeant James Eddie Wright resigned from the Marine Corps to return home to Texas and build a life after the Marine Corps.